So Scarlet and Violet came up with a lot of brand new Pokemon, plenty of them being very well designed. However, there was a slight miss that Game Freak had in the design department, and that came to quite a few shiny Pokemon. Wouldn't you agree?
I would say the vast majority of the shiny Pokemon are good, but there are definitely a handful that leave a lot to be desired.
Yeah, and of course, we're not talking about Pokemon like Paldea and Tauros, because that's a regional variant. That's not really a new Pokemon, but we will admit straight up right here, it's not a good shiny. However, we're also not really counting the Paradox Pokemon from Pokemon Violet. See, we kind of get the idea of where they were coming from. They wanted these Pokemon to be all silver and metallic, like mechanical things would be, right?
Yeah, no, an unfinished paint job, if you will.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what they were going for. So we're not going to touch on them. So what we're going to do here is we are going to fix some of the bad Pokemon. There's around 16 Pokemon, I would say.
A dozen and a quarter.
Yeah, there you go. While we can't make every shiny Pokemon better, there are some that we felt we could sit down for Paldea and really fix up, and that's what we're going to do here. We're going to react to each other's changes live, right off the cuff, and it's going to be a good time, I think. Now, I'll just say right now, you're probably not going to see a shiny Pokemon better than how a shiny Kabutops looks today, but we're going to give it a try.
Well, I think with the ones that we're going to be starting off with, I think you might actually have to eat those words pretty quickly.
Oh, hey, come on.
Yeah, well, getting a little wacky here.
What are we going to start off with?
I think we need to start off with the Pokemon that everyone really thinks about. That's a bad shiny from Scarlet and Violet, and that's going to be the Charcadet line.
Oh yeah, that's not what you want. It's not what you want at all.
No,
I mean, the only thing they do is change the eye color.
Yeah, no, it was just the eye color, and then once they get bigger to Armarouge and Ceruledge, it's even less noticeable, and it's quite disappointing. So, do you want to go ahead and show me yours first, and then we could just do a back and forth type thing?
Why, yes, I would love to, and we'll start with Charcadet. So, let's take a look.
Wow, that is definitely a unique shiny, if I had ever seen one in my entire life.
Well, let me try to explain a little bit of it to you, my thought process. As you'll see, especially with Armarouge and Ceruledge, I was going more so for a negative. Like the colors, like when you look at a negative photo.
No, it's all inverted looking.
Yeah, now this isn't exactly like that. You're kind of looking at him, he kind of looks a little bit more like he's just like Orochimaru a little bit. But, but if you look at him, I feel like that idea kind of comes across. Now, this is very different from what you come to expect. And you'll see that with its evolutions as well, because you would think that they would really just keep the color of the armor. But I didn't want to do that. I really wanted to get different here. And this is kind of an example of what Game Freak probably wouldn't do for a shiny Pokemon with what we have here. So I'm interested in seeing yours, though.
All right, well then, here is mine. I went kind of a more simplistic route. Now, clearly, we both went the purple flames route. In my head, I was thinking, even though Ceruledge is kind of a more purpley one, I was thinking in terms of the flames, you bring red, and some people will think of Ceruledge as blue. You got Cerulean in there. So I was thinking purple for the flames makes a lot of sense. And I didn't really change too much else because I felt just the flames on Charcadet being changed was really the big thing that needed to happen.
Yeah, I like what you did. I'd like the simplistic take. It's definitely a far cry from what I did with kind of really changing its core colors.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I do like yours a lot, but you were definitely right on the money there when you said they probably wouldn't do this. I mean, clearly they didn't do either.
Yeah,
of what we wanted. But
to be fair, I think at the very least we did a little bit more than they did. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think we both came up with some pretty good ones. Now, here's what I would like you lovely viewers to do. I would like you to, because we're each doing a shiny Pokemon, so I would like you to let us know which of us had the better shiny for each individual Pokemon. Maybe tally it up for us, and ultimately come to the conclusion of who won this. In
that
terms,
would be a
if we're making it a competition, because everything's got to be a competition.
Yeah, come on. What do they think is going on? You're a man of science. You want to be the best, the very best, like no one ever was.
Oh, that is without saying, without question. Absolutely. So I think we can move on to Armarouge, and I think I'll be the one to lead us into there. Yeah, here is my Armarouge.
Oh, interesting. That is really interesting.
So with so with with Umaru, no, with
Oh boy, it looks like it's wearing Umaru's like a blanket hoodie thing with that color.
So with Armarouge, the idea that I wanted to go for, because it feels more like a warrior type of Pokemon. So when I think of like the armor that it's wearing, and I know Ceruledge kind of is more knightish, that heavy armor, I just imagine like a rusty bronze kind of look to it. And I figured the purple just worked really nice, keeping it going along with that. I decided not to change the red for the arm and the legs. That just feels like, again, it's just a part of the Pokemon's body. And what's really changing here is the flames and the armor that it is wearing.
Yeah, I like what you did here. I really appreciate like the bronzer kind of look. I do like it. It almost kind of looks like a muscle man in a way. You know how they have kind of the bronzer on their giant muscles and their big shoulders. I'm almost reminded of that. With
in my head, I was thinking Muscle Man from Regular Show, and I'm like, I have no idea what on earth you're talking about. But no, absolutely. And you know, I think this ended up being a pretty nice one. I think the brown and the purple really complements each other pretty nicely here.
I agree.
So, but let's take a look at your Armarouge.
Yeah, so I'll pull back the curtain here for a second for everybody. I think that the not the Armarouge, but I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of a Pokemon. The Ceruledge. Thank you. I think that the Ceruledge is the best that I did out of any of the Pokemon.
You know, honestly, I think I have the same opinion on my Ceruledge.
So that we're starting off strong. Then I'm so glad we're giving everybody what they want, especially as we stumble through the first few minutes of the video. But let's take a look at my Armarouge, which is right here. This was my take on Armarouge. I wanted to capture a bit of the purples. Now I'm gonna do this real quick, just to take it back from it, so you could get a good look at the flame on top of Charcadet.
Yeah, purple with that little bit of green at the top.
I really wanted to play off of that.
So the armor kind of ended up taking some of that green. You know, it also kind of reminds me of like what copper does when it oxidizes.
Yes, that's a great take. I really like the idea, and again, I think I was able to pull some of that idea of negative colors and kind of apply it here. Now, I really do think that for the Ceruledge, it's going to come out a lot clearer, but I had a lot of fun with the Armarouge.
This one's definitely still certainly a respectable one, and big difference between that and its normal shiny.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, that's what I prefer. Shiny Pokemon that are like that. I really love when there's a stark difference between the two. And obviously, I mean, it almost feels right to go so extreme for these Pokemon because they're so unchanged as normal shiny Pokemon. So to go to the extreme almost feels fitting, you know?
Yeah, and especially when you have to think that many people were going to want to use these Pokemon. And maybe even try to get a shiny one of them. Why not have something that's really, really cool rather than something where it's like, oh, you changed the eye color. Which even then the eye, like, you know, this little squiggly doodad there is kind of a flame in a sense. So it just doesn't make sense that they didn't change the flames at all.
Yeah, you know, there was a lot of very untapped potential in shiny forms for this line in general. But now I will move on to the next one. And again, I do think my Ceruledge is the best of what I did here, and I'm really excited for everybody to see both of our Ceruledges up on screen. But you ready for mine?
Yeah, no, let's go ahead and take a look.
Again, think negative. This is my
okay.
This is my Ceruledge.
Well, one thing that you got going there is that the flames are taking more of the color that you did for the armor for the Armarouge. Yeah. So I definitely like that. And I think that's a really solid shiny.
Yeah, I kind of went in on what was the Charcadet's helmet color in the first place. I kind of decided to go with that for a bit of this armor. Kind of mold that color around a little bit, but mostly apply it, and then really go in with that, seafoam green-esque type of color, and then have the purple kind of work as the tips. I had a lot of fun with this one. This one rocks for me. I love this.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I'm trying to think which one I like more between the two. because I do like the other one a lot. But I would say probably because that seafoamish green almost has like a ghostly vibe to it as well.
Yeah. I was trying to keep that in mind as well. It's typing.
Yeah,
I thought that really hit here.
Yeah, so I would definitely say I agree with you on the Ceruledge part. But what do you all think?
Yeah, you gotta see yours now too. You love yours.
So yeah, going on. I'm just gonna get straight into it. Here is my Ceruledge. I went the route of, again, wanting to have the armor kind of be more old looking, but I didn't want to go necessarily the rusty route. Now I will be quite honest here. I don't know exactly what route I wanted to go with it, but I did know that I wanted it to, change color, and I went with this like darker brown, so it's not really rusty. It looks more muddy than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. Even if you didn't know which way you wanted to go, I'm glad you went the way you did. It looks great.
Thank you. And I for the flames, I went the opposite route. I figured even though it's the ghost type and whatever, I felt like, well, the other one had purple flames, which you would more associate with the ghost typing and whatever. So I went with what Armor Rouge's flames would have normally been, to kind of have that like mix match of
these are
of
great.
what you would expect.
Man, I feel horrible for Game Freak right now. We both did so much better than they did.
Now everyone's just gonna be like, "Oh, Game Freak, hire these men."
Oh my goodness! I mean, hey, look, if they
we're natural game developers here. We're recoloring things in Photoshop. But yeah, so I mean, what I will say here is, even though these are some of the ones that we like the most, I definitely don't think it goes downhill from here at all. Because I do think there's a lot of pretty solid ones that we have. Now, one that was actually
quite frankly, mind you, and I hate to interrupt you, but quite frankly, it would be hard to go down from here because we're already fixing things that are bad. So I would hope we don't go too far down.
Yeah,
that we're starting to.
I guess I meant more in the sense of like how cool some of them are. Which so the next one that we're going to be talking about is Flamingo. Now Flamingo, as you all know, goes from a pretty just standard flamingo to a very lightly colored flamingo.
A very sickly looking flamingo.
Yeah, and I shiny hunted it, and I don't know why I chose to shiny hunt it, but I did. And yes, it's noticeable, but it's disappointing to say the least. So I did this with it. I was really conflicted on this one because I really, really wanted to do like a lavender kind of purple. But I was just like, I just don't think it feels right for what I want to try to convey. So I kind of went this like orange reddish route to kind of exemplify its fighting type that I think often gets forgotten about.
I like that. It's kind of a crimson-y color. I do like that. It almost looks like a completely different bird. It's cool.
Yeah, no, you know what? It could almost feel in a way sort of like a toucan, or just like a bird like that. One that
I never noticed. I never noticed this thing's feet, by the way, that just look like paws.
Yeah,
like it's a bird with paws.
Actually, if you turn that one that's up around, kind of looks like the end of a golf club.
Yeah, golf club. See, this would be on Kahili's team.
Oh yeah,
if she probably has a golf club that's like fashioned to look like this.
I would certainly hope so. But yeah, so it's a real simple route. I didn't do too much. I didn't change the eye either. Could have changed the eye color, but I was like, just the body's fine. And even though I really wanted to go like a lavender purple route, I felt like this made more sense. And I think it turns out fine. I would have liked to have gotten this kind of more orangey red kind of a color. But you know, I like that. It is what it is. But
you can't go wrong with that color for birds.
And not at all. So now let's take a look at what you've got, Prime.
This is my Flamingo. I went with a gray Flamingo with pink legs and a pink eye. That's what I went with. I felt like it was interesting to see the idea of the Flamingo losing all of its color and it kind of just going into its eye and its legs.
Well, isn't that the whole thing with flamingos in the first place, that they are like gray feathered and they get the pink like pigmentation from shrimp?
I think that is the deal. Yeah.
So yeah, this is just the pigmentation decided to go to his eyes and legs.
Yeah, because he's not getting enough shrimp, so it's going to all these weird areas.
I think that actually, you know what? I would say this is one that I can imagine Game Freak doing for sure. I mean, they didn't, but it
No,
could have been in
no.
at least in the consciousness of it, they've done things similarly to this.
Yeah, so I guess this is one you could say, at least contextually, is something that is feasible.
Yeah.
I don't have too terribly much else to say about it, other than I just thought it would be kind of cool if it were gray, and you just kind of move the pink into other places of its body.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of how I...
Yeah, and like I said, I think based on what Flamigo is, it makes a lot of sense. So I like that.
All right, I'm glad you do. Now, I hope that you like the next one. I believe, are we talking about a certain family? I do believe with this next one.
Oh, I think we are.
That might be the case. And speaking of shinies that Game Freak would never do, I think this next one kind of takes the cake to that. This is my Mousehold shiny.
Yeah, they look like Peeps.
Yeah, they do.
This looks like Easter.
No, they really do look like Peeps. That's what I thought of too when I was doing them. But see, this is a far cry from brown pants, brown shirt, everything else looking normal.
Yeah, this is I like it a lot, but you are certainly right. They would never do something on a shine. They would never do something on a Pokemon that is normally just white with a very light blue pair of pants and shirt.
Yeah, I really loved the idea. I kind of fell in love with the idea while I was doing it, while I was thinking about it. Mm-hmm. That I don't mind trying to like throw out fun shinies, ones that you wouldn't see. It makes perfect sense. It's a red mouse and a blue mouse and then purple mice that they came from. You know, it makes a lot of sense in that regard. But it does feel like Peeps. It's kind of fun because, you know, obviously red and blue, very important colors in Pokemon, very important colors to the Nintendo Switch. You know, and then also, you know, you have a red one and a blue one and purple one, so it's almost like you got Scarlet and Violet as well. So it's a little fun, you know. But that I wanted to get silly. I wanted to get different because, you know what, the Mousehold shiny is a big disappointment, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And like I said, I like that a lot. But, well, I went the more tame route on it. And so I'll just go ahead and show it off. I went the... because, like, they're supposed to be kind of like... It's, I think, implied that they're, like, laboratory mice. And sometimes when I think of laboratory mice, I think of, like, beady red eyes. And yeah. Now... when it comes to the pants and the shirt, well, they were blue before, and when you think of just the standard pants shirt thing, you can think blue, but I think the other is like a khaki, tan, brown kind of a color. So, you know, I think that still makes a decent difference, but the big one here is going to be the eyes. So it's not a huge change, but I do think it's one that one could look at and be like, hey, I think that is decent. That is a pretty decent shiny.
Yeah, it's a fun. I like yours a lot. Yours is definitely a more realistic, enjoyable one.
Yeah, but I definitely like the diversity with yours for sure. Again, especially because they do seem like delicious Easter marshmallow candy. Well, actually, I think delicious might be subjective. I've heard a lot of people don't like Peeps.
I could take or leave Peeps. It depends on the day.
Here's the thing. Your Mousehold was certainly very, very colorful. So I think next we should talk about another set of colorful Pokemon, and that would be the Squawkabilly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just going to get right into it. We did change one for every color variation. And the first one that we're going to be talking about here is the green one. And I decided to make it red with a nice yellow pompadour instead of a black pompadour. The whole reason I went with red is the whole complementary color thing. Red goes well with green, and that will already give you a hint towards, or at least people that know the color wheel, that'll give you a hint at what the other ones end up being. But yeah, because when I think of pompadours, like those classic anime pompadours, the guy is either going to have black hair or he's a punk that dyed it blonde. So,
yeah.
So that's where I ended up going with it. And
I like that a lot.
And I just like the idea of being able to have Squawkabillies that there were just so many color variations of them. I like being able to do that. It's a little bit more of the extreme side of like Basculegion, where you have like the light blue, the red, the purple, and the yellow. I think that created a nice collage of things. So this, if you were able to get 8 Squawkabilly together, would look pretty colorful and nice. So let's take a look at your green Squawkabilly shiny.
So let me preface this by saying I didn't follow too much of a trend on making their shinies a particular color due to the ones that they were coming from. So my first one here, which is going to be for the green one, is a fun little purple one with a kind of a creamish sort of pompadour is what I wanted to go for, like a yellow, like an off-white creamish kind of color. I thought it would be a nice complementary color, for the purple doing the cream. I left its body alone, and I like it. I'm a fan of how this one came out specifically because I just think it looks so smooth. It's a very smooth looking bird, quite frankly.
I would definitely agree with that. And well, what I will say is it reminds me a lot of a shiny that I did later on. And,
really?
Yeah, we'll probably see that pretty soon. I like it.
That's interesting.
I like the purple. So do you want to go ahead and show us what color do we want to talk about next? Yellow?
Yeah, let's do yellow. This one looks weird. I'll just throw it out there right now. I'll be honest with everybody here. I'm a Kabutops. I'm working with scythes. So it wasn't the easiest in the world to get the best kind of black for this that you could kind of still see the line work. But I went black with a pink pompadour. I felt like that one would look really fun in the overworld, flying around. And black and pink, I think, go together very well.
Oh, black
as
and
colors
pink is an unmatched color combo for the most part.
Yeah, for a lot. I'm not a big Bret Hart fan, but pink and black come together very well. And I just thought this would be a nice one for the yellow. It's very different. And yeah, that's mine.
And
that's
again, one more that reminds me of another shiny I did. So I'm going to show you my yellow shiny. Just as with that, the complementary to yellow is purple.
Okay.
So I went with a purple Squawkabilly as well. And the difference here is instead of a cream colored pompadour, I did have just the standard yellow. So not too much to say on mine there. So
the purple and yellow do look very nice together. So.
Yeah, well, they're complementary colors. And so with that, I'll just move into my blue Squawkabilly, which is once again complementary colors. You got orange.
Okay.
Again, the yellow, like, I don't want to say like there's not a lot of pop there, but I mean, it's yellow and orange on top of it. And I wanted that consistency there. I wanted the pompadour to stay yellow, but the main body feathers to change. So, yeah, not much else to say. So I think we can just... Good. Thank you. And I think we can just move right into your blue Squawkabilly.
You know what? I love the orange on your Squawkabilly so much that I also made my blue Squawkabilly orange.
This is just
what I want to say is I had a theme that I was going for with the Squawkabilly that made me laugh as I did it, so that's why I did it. It kind of looks like an Oompa Loompa. So
it does a lot.
So I had a lot of fun putting it together like that. Once again, I left the rest of its body alone. I just went with the feathers and the pompadour, and I just think it's a nice one. I think it's a fun, vibrant orange that would be interesting to see in the region. I think it complements or works as a complementary color to the blue, as you had brought up. And that's, again, I didn't really think about these things this way, but I guess I was coming up with some decent complementary picks from shiny to none.
In different areas, we ended up thinking of very similar things.
Yeah. And now for my final Squawkabilly based off the white one. Squawkabilly. My last one, I actually did mess around with its body, and this, of course, is the white one, the white Squawkabilly. I did mess with its colors a little bit.
Oh my goodness.
I went with a red and blue type of Squawkabilly. I gave it a bluish body. Obviously, the red type of feathers. And on that pompadour, just a nice, like, classic Pokemon blue. Like that. That's just, when I think of Pokemon and the color blue, I think of this shade of blue right here for its pompadour. So I wanted to go a little different, get a little crazy. My thought process was I wanted to make one of the shinies perhaps clearly a little bit more valuable than any of the others. And I felt like this one was it. Like, this is the one you want to find. This is the really
top tier Squawkabilly.
Yes, this is
Squawkabilly.
The upper echelon Squawkabilly.
What I will say, because that just leads me right into mine, what I did for the white Squawkabilly is, I went with black. It's not, pure black there, of course, as you can see. But yeah, you have to work with in game. Hypothetically, it would end up being black, and so we pretty much
That's more
chose
the black I would have liked to have had.
Well,
on mine, I just screwed up a little bit.
Well, hey, when you're a scientist that works in Photoshop,
guys, I don't have to tell you how many mice, keyboards, and desks I've ruined with my scythes. It's very hard to do what I do.
Yeah, so give him a little bit of a break there, but yeah. So aside from the pompadour stuff, we ended up going with the same exact coloration for all the feathers, but just for different reasons.
Yeah, that's not too shocking.
So I mean, this would be one, like, I guess if people want to decide on which is a better shiny for that particular version of Squawkabilly, that's fine. But ultimately speaking, these shinies are virtually the same.
Well, I did give all of mine different pompadours. You pretty much kept it yellow.
Well, that is fair. I meant more so for the main part of the Squawkabilly.
Hey, look, that pompadour is a big deal.
You know what? That's fair. So now we can move into what would be our 10th shiny. So that Pokemon is in fact Tadbulb, and we'll start off with mine. I just wanted to go the simple route. I liked that it went from orange to red because those spots on Bellibolt do change from an orangish color to red. But yeah, its main Bellibolt's main body changes to yellow, which is much more similar to the regular Tadbulb. So why wouldn't we have the shiny Tadbulb be more similar to Bellibolt's body color?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And it would be far easier to find. Yes. I hunted this thing twice.
Considering how tiny they are.
Yeah, one of them disappeared, and then I had to re-hunt it. And it was a big pain. And if it had been green like this, I wouldn't have been as stressed out trying to find it.
Yeah, I can't blame you for making a change like that. I'll say right away, I like yours more than mine. As you're about to see, I went very low key on mine. Okay. It's not a huge change. I felt it was probably enough for someone that might be close to them while hunting them. I kept it yellow, but I did alter its colors for like its face and whatnot, and I made it more of a
purplish.
Purplish. I don't know really what color you'd break that down into, but a purplish. I really liked the way that the two colors work together. Like I said, I like yours more, but I enjoyed kind of just leaving it minimal because I think it already looks better than what it is, even with the little bit that I did. But yeah, yours takes the cake here. I think. I guess there's not too terribly much to say, about Tadbulb. It's pretty cut and dry. I guess that'll take us to our next Pokemon, right? We're going to do a certain dragon, and we're going to start with Frigiback. Is what we're going to start with right here.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting.
You like that? You like the Frigibacks?
Yeah, I do like that.
You a fan?
Yeah. The yellow goes to a nice blue. That spike on the back turns to a nice blue.
I felt it was good to leave its eyes yellow. I don't think you always need to change the eyes of a shiny Pokemon. Some Pokemon that really rely on that, like Jigglypuff and whatnot. But I mean, I liked. It was obviously a paler type of color. And then the blues, I felt like that's all it really needed. Now, of course, you'll start to see this expanded upon in the next few evolutions. But I liked Frigibacks here.
Yeah, no, I definitely think you did a pretty solid job. And as someone that did get a shiny Frigibacks, while its current shiny was noticeable, still is one of those things of, I really wish pseudo-legendary shinies, as of late, they just feel like they don't change as much as I'd like them to. So, I'll move into my Frigibacks, which just made me want to see a nice black shiny. You can never go wrong with a black shiny,
No.
So yeah, I just went with the route of a more dark gray blackish body. I decided to go and change that yellow to a nice red, a little bit of a deeper red than you would expect, and then the stuff that gets frozen across its body, as you can see, the little bead below its mouth and its stomach, kind of like a light yellowish color.
I like it. I think we have two starkly different shinies here, but both are better than
the current one.
Yes.
And then I'll lead us right into its evolution, Arctibax, which just follows the same shiny pattern.
As you would assume.
Yes, so we've got the stuff that's freezing over its face and growing out of its back, being that lightly yellow, goldenish color, maintaining that nice black body, as well as a red eye and whatever you call those arm doodads on it.
Yeah, those strange. Well, more so on the Frigibacks are like tassels. I don't really know what you'd call those though. Those. I wonder if they even move in the same way that Frigibacks move, or if they're like really stuck in place, like frozen in place.
I just wonder what they are, what their purpose is. How does it aid it?
Maybe it uses to chip away at the ice around its eyes if it starts to overgrow.
Not sure. Well, let's go ahead and see yours.
All right, my Arctibax again. Obviously follows what we
pattern.
What my first one was. The blue remains prominent. You start to see a bit of a change in the ice, I suppose. The ice starts to change a bit, and its body keeps that color. Starting to look a lot more weird dinosaur kaiju-y as it gets like this.
Yeah, it definitely has that kind of like brownish gray that you expect from a dinosaur type of creature.
I like it, but that's not what you're here for. You want to see what Baxcalibur looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And my Baxcalibur looks a little something like this. I went with the ice becoming slightly purplish, almost glacier-like, much like the Glacier Game Boy Advance that serves as the branding of our channel. That's kind of like what I went for its ice, for its pattern on its belly going down, on its knees. And then we kept the blue, we kept the skin tone. That's where I wanted to go with this.
Yeah, I think that works out pretty well. Again, I'm always a big fan of purple things, so I think that works out pretty well. So
I'm very curious to see yours, though.
Well, ultimately speaking, it just ends up being the same thing. Just, more of the same,
though.
But
the
really
consistency
cool set
of colors.
I really do like how this ended up. This, again, I like the shiny Baxcalibur that I do have, but if I had this, I would be far happier with it. Again, you have that slightly goldenish yellow face, the big, sword thing coming out of its back.
Yeah, that's just very strange spine.
And then just again a deep red for the weird arm things. But yeah, I just I had so many different ideas for this, but I just ultimately thought, like, we've seen black and red shinies, and obviously black and orange with Satitan, and I was like, you know what, black and yellow with a little bit of red in there looks pretty nice. I did want to try something like green, but that's I ended up with this, and I'm pretty satisfied with it.
I dig it. I think that, what, we had to, once again, I don't mean to keep putting us over, but once again we had two entirely separate ideas that I think both end up looking better than what there is. So I felt pretty good about both of what we've done so far. I think all of these are with the exception of my Mousehold, competent shinies that you could, honestly, I could see could have been real.
Absolutely. Mousehold, one of those ones where it's like, it's just fun to dream.
It's for fun, yeah.
But now let's start winding down, and let's talk about Bombardier. Now, yes. I went a little bit of a different route here. I went with 2 different shinies for Bombardier, but there is a reason. Okay. Bombardier is, as you know, a stork. And storks are well known for delivering babies to parents.
Yeah, they're very, 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 very accredited doctors.
So, while there are no differences between the male and female Bombardier for its regular coloration, I decided to have different shinies for its male and female counterpart. For the male, I decided to go with blue feathers, blue bill with pink legs. And then for the female Bombardier shiny, you get the reverse. You get pink feathers, pink bill, blue legs. And I also, going back to it, I forgot to mention that I also changed like its eyelash thing from blue as well, and then pink for the other one. But those are the ones that I had in mind, is based on whichever gender it was, it had a different coloration for its shiny.
I really like that. I think that's a fantastic idea. I think that's really thinking outside the box. Definitely not something I thought to do, but now I almost wish I had. That's a great idea. I really like that, and it kind of plays off of what I was trying to do with the Mouseholds, quite frankly. So that's also pretty cool.
Thank you.
I dig it. I'm into it. Once again, thinking we're doing a good job here. Now, mine is complete opposite idea. My Bombardier leans into it being black.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the idea of a paler legs, kind of paler beak, but
yeah, it creates a lot.
Black bird.
Yeah, it creates a stark contrast there, and I definitely like that.
I'm a fan of, like, if you're in an outbreak, you're gonna know that this thing is there. You know, like
looking like it came.
Like those Pokemon like that.
Looking like it came straight from an oil spill.
Yeah, but you know where you end up fighting the Titan Bombardier in the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a very high mountaintop. I could believe that, like, maybe Bombardier like to very often fly around high mountaintops, maybe even like volcanoes and stuff like that.
God,
and I like the idea of them getting. I like the idea of them getting very dirty from like soot, or maybe just hanging out in the dirt, you know, just rolling around.
Could you imagine if that was, you'd think you find a shiny Bombardier and it's just actually a very cold, dusty.
But I thought it'd be fun to do the classic complete opposite color type of shiny for this one. I like it a lot.
Yeah, no, I do like that a lot. It is it's a very solid one.
And who doesn't like a nice blackbird? You know, we had some earlier. Here's another one. I think we did a good job with these birds, and I think that, you know, we can move on to our final two Pokemon, which is a line.
Yes, and that is the Gimmighoul line.
Yeah, it is.
Now currently they're not available to get in game, but you know, a lot of people, you know, you really can't go onto any Pokemon information website without seeing that. So, you know, just because you can't get them in game doesn't mean that you can't see what they are.
But I gotta be honest with you, even if you did see it, I wouldn't be shocked if you asked yourself, are we sure that this is shiny? This looks nothing different from the regular one, especially with Goldango.
Yeah, but, I mean, at the very least with Gimmighoul, there is the ever so slight. Yeah. Still not great, but still something, right?
Now, here's the thing, before we step into mine. I decided to do things very odd with Gimmighoul. There's really absolutely no reason for its treasure chest to change color, in my opinion. But I've gone ahead and changed its treasure chest. Its color to be interesting, along with its body and along with its coins. But I will allude to you now, the Goldango really does not make sense. That's all I'll say. So let's do Gimmighoul right here, my Gimmighoul. I thought it'd be fun to make its body dark, and then kind of play games with the chest a bit. I made the coin very silverish, in a way that's like different from what it was. We're talking like more of a nickel, like it looks kind of like a nickel or a dime that you might have pulled off the floor.
Yeah, a little bit of a darker gray.
You know, and then I kind of just, you guys aren't going to be very happy with me for this, but I kind of just like the colors for the chest. I kind of liked doing those two colors. I thought they complemented the black pretty well. So that's why I went with a weirdish blue and a goldish yellow.
No, I definitely like that. And it is, you know, it is definitely different from what I ended up doing. But the concept is the same. I changed a lot about it, except I did not change the Gimmighoul itself. I decided to just change everything that actually isn't the Gimmighoul for the most part. So here is my Gimmighoul. I decided to change the chest a little bit and mix around the colors. So for the chest, you would primarily be seeing black and gold and whatever, as well as this brownish color. So I kind of just swapped all of those around. So the main coin on the chest ends up becoming the gold one. The trim of the chest is black, as you can see, and the strap becomes red. As for the coins, that's really the only thing that got changed with Gimmighoul. Is it's got the same colored eyes as the coins are, and the coins are more silver.
I do find it amusing that we both kind of went with the same shade for the body of the chest. We both kind of went with the same kind of yellowish, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like yours. I think we both put out two starkly different, but as we've said a few times in the video,
and in my head too, even though I know this isn't what it's actually supposed to be, but this strap, just with the red and the big gold medallion, kind of looks like a wrestling belt, since we've been talking a lot about that. So I just thought that was a fun little thing.
It reminds me of like a gold medal. That's been, like, just come undone, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And so that leads
Here we
me
go.
into my Goldango, which again just follows the same exact color palette.
Oh, look at that.
But obviously, since the coins are what end up changing its entire body structure, since it has silver coins in its shiny, its regular shiny just becomes silver. And then you've just got the chest as well as strap and other coin on its hip. So you've got a very big silver one. So that's already a big difference, the big silver body. But having that with the red strap and the gold coin, I think just creates a really nice contrast.
I agree. I think that's really fun. And I mean, that almost looks official, quite frankly. And I'm sure that, in this video, people will see what regular Goldango looks like. It's shiny. And you can tell that it's very different with that. I like what you did. I'm a fan of what you did for sure. Yeah, that leads me to mine, which I believe to be also incredibly different. And again, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that my Goldango looks like this, but who cares? My Goldango looks a little something like this.
Huh.
I went with a dark Goldango, maintaining the lines being a golder line due to the fact that its coins are still gold. But I decided to have the darker color be more present, since I did change the way that the Gimme Ghoul looked.
Yeah, the body.
And of course, I also maintained the chest, and the coin and the black strap. I think that looks pretty good around its waist. But I wanted to maintain a darker color. Felt like it'd be nicer to be able to really see a difference between the lines and the color that was a little more stark.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really what my thought process was. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense with the idea of the Pokemon, but I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no,
definitely better than what we have.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Even though I like mine with the red and whatever that I did for the strap, I feel like I like yours a lot more just because of the big difference between, because like again, mine's just a more plain silvery body, but yours actually led more into the actual Pokemon, its body changing the color rather than the objects. The focus wasn't there on the objects for yours, even though they did change.
Lore-wise, it makes a lot of sense that Goldango works the way it does, why it looks the way it does, everything. I still think it'd be more fun to lean more into what Gimme Ghoul's color is and build and kind of incorporating gold into that as opposed to just being full gold covered in coins. So it's just a difference in creative opinion.
Yeah, but I think both of them are very valid choices.
Oh, of course. You'll love to see valid. Everybody's valid. Very valid.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. That is the 16 different Pokemon that we decided to go through and fix their shinies. Ultimately speaking, I think we did a pretty good job, honestly. I think on my end of things, I went, for the most part, with a few exceptions, went a more, I guess, realistic route. That was definitely tame in some areas, whereas you decided like, hey, since these don't exist, I'm just gonna have fun with it.
And it's like, I almost feel like some of them deserve to be out of the park, like weird, out of left field type of deals, because they got such a raw deal with how they actually look.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost feels right to go a little bananas with them instead of just keeping it too grounded in reality, because they are so grounded in reality, they hardly look different. So I was just me trying to overcompensate.
But what do you all think? Did you keep tally like I asked you to do, so you could see whose shinies you liked best?
I'm sure they did.
Yeah. I hope to see at least 10,000 comments, and I'll read about 5 of them.
Of course, I'll respond to 1, but only 1.
Oh, when I meant, well, 6 of you, 10,000 people will get a response at the very least.
There you go. See? And please, share with us who you think some of the worst shinies are in Paldea, and if we missed any, and maybe what you would do to change some of them as well.
And with that said, I am Delector Kexter.
Oh, yeah, that you are. And me, I'm a suds-free Prime Directive.
And we will see you all next time.